Hello and welcome to TSG Foundation's Wisdom of the Zodiac. Today's lesson and meditation will be taken from Volume 3, Chapter 11, titled Libra, Finding Equilibrium. In today's lesson, we will discover how to find balance and equilibrium, and through that process, build the bridge to our higher self. Remember, this year, 2018 to 2019, we are looking at how the wisdom of the Zodiac is helping us build bridges toward our higher self. Before I start the lesson from the wisdom of the Zodiac, I'd like to read a few paragraphs for you from the book Human Nature by Torkom Saraydarian, Chapter 7, titled Equilibrium. This is a fantastic chapter, and it really describes for us what is the difference between equilibrium and balance. Let me read a few paragraphs because they are outstanding themes for us to meditate on. When two or more opposing currents of energy, substance, or matter are under the control of an advancing consciousness, keep that theme in mind, advancing consciousness, to reach a goal, a state of equilibrium is created. Balance is a condition in which two amounts are equal to each other. Balance is horizontal equilibrium. Equilibrium is a vertical and progressive balance achieved by an individuality between spirit and matter, between space and form. So keep this in your mind. Equilibrium is a vertical balance between spirit and matter. Okay? Balance is a condition where two amounts are equal to each other, and it is horizontal balance. All right? Now, the other theme is advancing consciousness. So when you have an advancing consciousness, what that means is you have higher principles, visions, and ideals in your mind, and you strive toward it every day. That means you have an advancing consciousness. And when that advancing consciousness, you are faced with two opposing currents in your life, and those two opposing currents come into your life and you have to deal with them, then that advancing consciousness creates equilibrium between spirit and matter. How you deal with it is you create balance between spirit and matter. Okay? It is through your labor that you attain equilibrium. So you are going to work to create equilibrium between spirit and matter in the way that you express your life. Through your labor, you cultivate both your spiritual and material natures and achieve mastery over them. So the whole life is showing us how to achieve mastery between material and spiritual matters and how to achieve balance between them. Through equilibrium, you create and build your individuality in equilibrium, which means you approximate matter into spirit. Or to put it simply, you make your potentials manifest through your personality. That means your potentials inside of you are coming out through your advancing consciousness, through your attempt and your striving to create balance between spirit and matter. And through that clashing of the two forces, you strive and you put your principles into action, you create equilibrium in your life. Every living and operating form on the evolutionary path has a soul that is able to be in equilibrium. Every form is able to be in equilibrium. An atom, a man, and a galaxy are examples of this. This is really serious philosophical underpinnings, and I wanted you to think about this as we go into the wisdom of the Zodiac. And I'm doing this to show you that the wisdom of the Zodiac is so deep and so complex and so layered that sometimes we need to read other books along with the wisdom of the Zodiac in order to really get the underpinnings of that chapter. Let me continue a little bit more because this is so important. Further down on that page, he says to sustain equilibrium, we need three factors. So if you want to sustain equilibrium, which let me take a minute to describe how I see that. Equilibrium is like a very deeply rooted tree. It has a strong trunk and it has deep, deep roots. It is standing in one place. So take a look at that and say, philosophically, I am rooted in my principles. I am not jumping from one place to the other. I am not taking myself and uprooting myself and going from here to there. I am stable. I am deeply rooted into a tradition that I then manifest through the branches and the trunk and the leaves and the tree, fruits, and so on. So when you build that tree in your mind, keep that in your mind as you think of equilibrium. Equilibrium is that steady flow of sun energy that comes into the leaves, nurtures the trunk, goes deep into the roots, and the water and the minerals and the soil replenish, and the tree is alive and strong and beautiful. The winds and the hurricanes will come, and it will not uproot that tree. This has a heavy implication for you and for me, for all of us in our spiritual traditions. So to sustain equilibrium, we need 3 factors. Let's look at these factors, and I would invite you to meditate on them during this period so you can really set yourself in a state of balance, okay, horizontal, and equilibrium, vertical, as you go forward in the next 7 months of the wisdom of the Zodiac. Okay, this is almost like a midpoint for us to assess and reevaluate where we are in our life. So to sustain equilibrium, we need 3 factors. 1, the magnet. 2, creativity. And 3, striving. What is the magnet? Magnet is the vision of ultimate achievement. So having a vision of ultimate achievement in your life will inspire you and pull you to strive to create that deep-rooted equilibrium in your life. Does that make sense? Isn't that beautiful? I love that. It is a force that draws everything up toward perfection. So think of yourself again as a tree, and that vision is pulling you through to your perfection. Number 2 is creativity. Creativity is the ability of the human soul to make matter manifest the treasury of the spirit. Creativity must manifest on all possible levels. Matter is the vehicle of spirit. You see, the spirit comes into matter and manifests and uplifts matter and changes it. Of course, it's the ability of the human soul to make matter manifest the treasury of the spirit. That means your spirit has a treasury in it. And what is creativity is taking that treasury and manifesting it. To get that deeper sense of who you are as a true self, it would be beautiful if you can take time, whatever time you need, and say, what is the treasure inside of me? What is that deep beauty inside of me? What am I really all about that I can bring that out? And that is going to create equilibrium in your life, so that when the winds and the hurricanes come, what will happen? You'll stand straight and strong. Let's look at number 3. Striving is our response to the magnet and the effort for creativity. Nothing happens without striving. Whether it's a 1-minute striving, continuous 24/7 striving, doesn't matter. Choose the level that works for you, that is sustainable, and do it. Okay, now let's go back to chapter 11 of Wisdom of the Zodiac, discussing Libra, finding equilibrium. My volume starts on page 115. Let me read that first paragraph. Libra, the balanced scales. Okay, Libra is an image of a balanced nature. Balanced scales symbolizes that energy which radiates from the constellation of Libra. Okay, the constellation of Libra is radiating out to us and telling us to find the process and the content in our life that will result in a balance and equilibrium state for us. As this energy passes through our sun, it spreads itself to the whole solar system and to all lives living in the solar system. So everything, every body, every matter, every atom in the solar system is going to be inspired by that powerful energy of Libra to say, are you in balance? Are you in equilibrium when the winds and storms hit you in your life, which everybody has from time to time? There are 12 main points that we must try to observe in our lives and create a balance among them. So this chapter is a very practical chapter for us to take a few minutes and in the middle of our Wisdom of the Zodiac 12-month period to ask this question, okay? What are the 12 main points in my life? Some may apply to you and some may not, but take a look at them and choose the ones that you want. Choose the ones that you want that work for you and meditate on them during the 5 days of the zodiacal cycle of Libra. We are told that a superior person is one who has balance in his or her life. A superior person means a person, in my opinion, who is beautiful, who is full of love and gratitude, who is full of goodness, who is full of righteousness, and is joyful no matter what happens, and is free from the addictive emotional and mental status of our life. Okay, is free of those addictions. Imagine that makes you a superior person. A superior person is not someone who has more money or more degrees or is more beautiful or is younger or has more power and positions and so on. A superior person who is a principled person who is able to keep that strong center and hold that center. Okay, let's look at what are the 12 points that Torkom discusses to create in our life. The first one is to create balance between labor and rest. That's number 1. Number 2 is create a balance between physical care and spiritual care. I will come back to some of these in a minute. Number 3 is to create a balance between outgoing and ingoing life. Very important. Feed your internal spirit, feed the external. Okay, don't neglect any part. Number 4, create a balance between learning and creativity. That means learning and bringing in information, and creativity is what, according to this idea of balance and equilibrium, creativity is to strive and put into matter the spirit that's inside of you. Okay, that's creativity. Number 5, create a balance between beingness and service. So important. Those two things are like the crux of the Ageless Wisdom teaching that I love so much. It means take a look at your inside, your beingness, who you are, and then radiate it out. Why would you not want to share the gifts that you have inside of you with everyone so that we uplift all of life? You see, the spiritual discipleship process, okay, the discipleship process is not a selfish process. It is learning and applying, learning and uplifting, learning and sharing, okay? So that everyone around us, whether it's a small, close-knit community of family and friends or larger. So we have a responsibility as disciples of the teaching to create that balance of being and serving, okay? Learning and giving. Okay, what's number 6? Create a balance between silence and speech. I'll come back to that one. Number 7, create a balance between eating and fasting. And you can take that physically, emotionally, or mentally, or spiritually. Eating, take in, and fasting. Just stop, silence, and see what happens. Number 8, create a balance between taking and giving. Oh, that is so beautiful. You know, when I see people taking the spiritual wisdom, taking friendships, and then giving out in whatever way that they can, whether it's time, talent, money, goodness, prayers, a smile. When I see that, my heart is so happy because I see the circulation of energy. If we don't circulate energy, what happens? We just get eat, take, and what happens? We just puff out. That is such an important esoteric principle that we need to really think about. Okay, number 9. Create a balance between living for others and living for yourself. You can see the dominant theme is to take care of yourself, your immediate environment, your soul, your spirit, your talents, and also to take care of everything around you. So there's a balance. We have to have a balance between the two. And when we have a balance between the two, that's when we nail the idea of equilibrium. When you have, for example, a community that supports you, a community that loves you, and you love them back, you will be able to withstand the storms of life. Whether it's a community, whether it's the higher worlds, whether it's our books, whether it's our family, it is really important to think of ourselves as having someone and something, some community that has our backs, right? And we have also other people's backs. It is such a beautiful symbiotic relationship. Number 11 is to create a balance between seeing the bad and the good aspects of people. Number 12, create balance between working for the needs of the present life and for the needs of the future life, the everlasting life. I think that is really, really important. Let me go back and take a look at the items that I highlighted for us, okay? And I highlighted 4 items because I want us to find 4 seed thoughts from these balancing points, and then I will tell us what we will meditate on the day of the full moon. So let's start with day 1. The first one, create balance between labor and rest. The first day of the full moon, take that sentence as a seed thought and find out what it is that you need to do to find balance between labor and rest. That starts on page 116. And let me read the bottom of that page. It is not that rest and labor are important or unimportant. Pay attention to this. What is important is how your mind operates, in what direction you are heading, and what your judgments and decisions are. If your mind is constantly worrying and running with the problems and the issues and the plans in your life, it will be overwhelmed. It will be overloaded. It's not healthy. So you need to find times to rest that thought process, to rest your emotions, to rest your mind and your body. When you are too tired or too rested, you cannot be alert. Look at what he's saying. You're too tired or too rested. You cannot be alert. So the whole idea of finding equilibrium and balance is to be alert to the opportunities that life brings you. Rest and labor. Sometimes we say for 6 days we must work and on the 7th we must rest. This is incorrect. Listen to what he says. We must work every day and we must rest every day. This is why day and night are created. Do you see how in that rhythm we need to switch from our daily rat race that we find ourselves in and find balance? And sometimes we learn this when we get older, don't we? But if young people are listening to this video, start now. Don't wait until you're older to find that time of rest and labor in your life. Put your phone down, put your computer off, turn your TV off, and find a time of quiet. Okay, the second day that I chose is create a balance between physical care and spiritual care. Okay, you're going to self-care. What does that mean? Diet, exercise, walking, having good talks with your family and friends, and then spiritual care. What does that mean? Spiritual care means my emotions need to be looked at and full of joy. If they're not, I need to find out why. What is irritating me? What is keeping me awake at night? What is making me feel aggressive or depressed? You see, you want to look at that. Those are all your spiritual care. And you're going to say, what do I need to meditate on so I can clear my mind, my emotions, and align myself and align with the soul and the spirit in me? And as soon as you say that, look, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, I am like a strong tree with deep roots, beautiful branches, and I'm not going to be shaken. See, that is the balance between physical care and spiritual care. Your depth, your roots is taken care of, and so are your branches, what is visible. Okay? Wow. Look what he says in the middle of that page 117. Ask yourself, how many hours am I dedicating to my physical needs? How many hours am I dedicating to my spiritual needs. Now we come to the third day of the 5-day full moon celebration, and that is the day of the full moon. On that day, I would like us to take the time to ask, how do I develop deep roots so that I am solid and stable, and I am so stable in everything that I do in my life that I cannot be disrupted by the winds and hurricanes of life? Okay, that is a beautiful question that I'm going to meditate on. How do I develop, deep roots so that I have deep, solid equilibrium? And what are those deep roots? How do I do that? Meditate on that on the third day of the full moon period. That would be so uplifting for you, and you can see what is it that you are going to need to do to develop that solid equilibrium. Now let's go to day 4 of the 5-day full moon observation. And I'm going to use from page 120, number 6, create a balance between silence and speech. Okay, that has profound implications. Silence means physically you are not talking, you're not writing, you're not texting, okay? You are not emailing. It means emotionally you are quiet and you are not saying, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have said this, I should have said that. Silent. And mentally you are not having that machine run, 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 run. You're going to silence yourself. Now that is harder to do than you think. Try it for 1 minute. See if you can silence yourself. And then when you speak, you will see that it has much more impact, much more focus, and much more meaning and power when you speak through that period of silence that you've had inside of you. Let's work on that on day 4. For day 5, I chose number 12, which is illustrated on page 124. Create a balance between working for the needs of the present life and for the needs of the future life, the everlasting life. I know that as we get older, that's what we think about. But even when you're young and you are watching this video, you are doing these lessons, it doesn't matter what age you are, think that the everlasting future life, what is that going to be like, and what do I need to do now? Sometimes spiritual people say, oh, I don't care about this life. I'm just going to wait until the next life. Well, what is really interesting about that is any life you start from where you left off. So if you slide and slip and slide in this life and say, I don't care anymore, I'm not going to do anything spiritual, I'm just going to have fun and party and forget everything, then that's where you will start in the next life. Instead, think of your everlasting lifetimes and what kind of life do you want? There is that vision question again. What is your vision for yourself as a soul? And if you want that to be actualized, this life, next life, next life, what is it that you need to do right now? It's a profound question that I know we will ask and struggle with and attempt to bring into fruition every day of our lives until the end. And that's why it's so important. The idea that your current life is a springboard for the next life, that it isn't just something totally new that happens. It is not. We continue with where we left off. I'd like to read a beautiful paragraph on page 127 before we start our meditation. You see, the whole idea of balance and equilibrium is just deep breath and take time to reassess your life. That's what this is really. You must not overload yourself. Okay? You must not overload yourself, whether it's material or spiritual. Some people think that I very seriously push people to be holy-poly. I do not, writes Torkom. You must progress by yourself according to the type of system that you have in your body, your mind, your emotions, and your centers. You cannot force anyone to do anything. Forcing is strictly forbidden in the true teaching. Okay? I cannot force you. Your teacher cannot force you. You cannot force yourself. The keynote of that paragraph is this: you must progress by yourself according to the type of system that you have in your body, your mind, and emotions. Your system. Look at the amount of self-knowledge that requires. Know what is your system. What is it that is inside of me? What is my capacity? What is my time? What is my ability? What are my challenges that I have to get over little by little? It's never just swept. So what is it that I need to do in order to strive and find that sense of equilibrium? So we have now 5 separate days to do our meditation, and we are going to do the meditation from this chapter, pages 128 to 29. Okay, let's sit up, close our eyes, and put a nice smile on your face. And we are going to say the great invocation with beautiful rhythm. Okay, follow me. First, center yourself and focus. Your physical, emotional, and mental bodies. Put them together, pull them together. Align with your soul. Think of all the people saying the invocation with you. Let our voices be heard around the world. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. Deep breath. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. Deep breath. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. A deep breath and an Om. Keep your alignment and lift your soul to higher levels and be one as a soul with your solar angel. Let us say one more Om in that state. Now, keeping in that state, let us say the mantra of unification and think of every woman and man and child on the planet saying this with us. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form. and life and all events, and bring to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all men love. One Om. Keeping your alignment, meditate on the seed thought. How do I develop deep roots in my life so that I am always in equilibrium? Find 5 factors that will help you develop those deep, deep roots. Okay, let's take a few minutes to do that. Visualize yourself as a strong tree with deep roots and understand how that took place. Visualize yourself as a strong tree with deep, deep roots that go out for miles and bring nourishment of water and minerals from the soil. And see how that energy goes all the way up the trunk to all the branches, all the leaves. And see beautiful, gigantic branches that are strong and resilient, that do not break when strong winds come. And see all the life that your branches support. All the birds and the bugs and people, the shade that you provide, the food that you provide. And just imagine yourself as that beautiful tree and contemplate how that came about. What is solid and unmoving in you that is always in a state of equilibrium? Let us say 3 Oms. Torkom finishes this meditation with the song Go in Beauty. It is a beautiful song. And it says, go in beauty, beauty before you, beauty behind you, beauty to your right, beauty to your left, beauty above you. Go in beauty. Go and be beautiful and strong. And remember, be a woman or a man of higher consciousness, of advanced consciousness, so that you are always standing in equilibrium regardless of what happens in life. Thank you and have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.